crew to save the day.
Welcome to Mighty House. This is a show for people with problems, home improvement problems, that is, and for people who want common sense guidance on how to build green and live a more sustainable lifestyle. Send an email. The Mighty House crew is on the job. This is Mighty House.
All right, we're back, and today we're going to talk about a heat pump versus a conventional furnace. Which one should you get? What's going to save you money? And, what's going to last longer, maybe even. We'll find out. So before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and dingle on the bell, and you'll get notified next time we do another one. And you can also just leave us a note down below, ask any questions you want, and we'll get you squared away right there. So, heat pump versus conventional HVAC. Conventional meaning a gas furnace or electric furnace, straight up electric.
Yeah, you got natural gas, propane.
Oh, propane, yeah.
Electric, and then you've got your heat pump.
The heat pump, right? That's the fancy newfangled thing that everybody's putting in today.
So it's kind of funny because, like, down here, we'll spec a heat pump system for a lot of the houses, but yet we'll start right out that, in a heat pump and an air conditioner work basically the same way on cooling.
Correct.
But when you work with the heating side of it is where there become a big difference. Like I have a Train system, and Train makes a heat pump version just like mine, and it's the same SEER rating.
It's just reversible or something like that, right? Isn't that?
Yes, it's basically what it is. And then your air handler, in my case, my air handler has electric strips in it for heating. I've been in the house over 2 years. I haven't turned the heat on yet. So I'm not worried about the energy efficiency of my electric heat. You know what I mean?
Right. But the heat pump still is just going to be reversing. It's pulling heat from outside and putting it in. It's only
Correct.
At some point, which probably doesn't happen there, but here in Chicago, it would eventually happen that the temperature is so cold that you can't pull any more heat out of the air outside. So now you need an alternative means to heat the house when the temperature drops below whatever that range is.
Right. And so the way you do that, though, is you have a standard air handler instead of a furnace. And inside that air handler, you'd have the electric strip heat like I have, and that's just your makeup. And then if you have to do that, you can go over and turn that on versus the heat pump. So that's in your air handler. You're still not buying a conventional furnace.
Correct.
If you live between, almost Georgia to, Southern Illinois, that whole middle part of the country where it's temperate,
yep,
you probably could get away with just the heat pump and just a standard air handler with a blower, right?
I would agree.
And it costs a little bit more up front. They tend to run more money a little bit. As far as how long, which one will last longer, I don't really know. The heat pump hasn't been out there as long, and in my case, none of our equipment lasts as long as you want it to because of the salt air.
Salt air eats them up.
They get eaten up,
Yeah, it's not that they break or fail. It's that the salt air just rusts them out.
Yeah, it just eats everything.
Yeah,
it's amazing what salt air does to copper. So
yeah, you would think that putting copper in would be great because it would just last forever.
You would think.
It does up here.
Right. So, and you've had a lot of experience with doing geothermal.
Mm-hmm.
And geothermal, in a sense, is very similar to doing the heat pump because you're taking the water out of the ground that's already warm, and you're taking what heat is there and blowing that through. And one of the things to mention is that because a heat pump's not going to kick air out at 130 degrees like a gas forced furnace or an electric strip heater, you're going to have maybe 75-degree air coming out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe what you have your thermostat set for. So your air handler is not going to turn on, shut off like it does with gas forced. It's going to run more continuously.
Right.
So in that case, you need to make sure that you do spend the money on a variable speed air handler and the heat pump. And I think most heat pumps are variable speed. So, and if you match it to the air handler, you should be fine.
Right.
Because in our case, everything is variable speed. So right now I'm sitting in my office, and if I looked on my thermostat or on my phone, I'm betting that my unit right now is running at 12 or 15%.
Right. And that's, especially if you don't, if you have gas furnace and that thing turns on and starts blasting hot air at you, you feel it. It's hot air.
Right.
But if you have a geothermal system, anything like this, that is, or even electric, if that fan comes on full bore, that feels like cold air blowing on you.
Right.
So by having the variable speed, the heat pump then is introducing that air at a slower rate over a longer period of time, and it's going to condition that space and keep it at a consistent rate, but you're not going to feel those drafts and that air moving around because it's slower.
Right. And because of that same thing, if your system is somewhat balanced, you've got enough return for your supply, you won't get hot and cold spots in the house either. You'll get a much more consistent temperature throughout the house because it's running at a lower rate for a longer period of time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, almost every house we did before I moved down here, we used to pull out the 100,000 BTU furnaces and put in 65 or 70,000 BTU. Because the bigger hammer theory didn't prove to be correct. It would get to temp too fast, shut down, and the other half of the house is still freezing cold. So we wanted to run longer, move the air and so on. And you're actually burning and get less fuel because smaller burners, smaller orifices.
It's all way more efficient.
Yeah. So, and it proves the same. So if you can afford a heat pump, if you're in a heating climate, especially a mild heating climate,
Like
somewhere in the middle of
Tennessee.
Canada, probably not a good idea.
Yeah. Tennessee down to Georgia.
That
all the way
I
through
would
Florida.
definitely jump on a heat pump
Oh
on
yeah.
my heating side.
Yep. You're going to save a bunch of money over the life of that equipment. You will
Mhm.
save money.
Yes.
So, all right. With that too, I would say maybe look into a blower door test, find out where the leaks are in your house, do a little air sealing, energy efficiency stuff, and that'll also make a big difference. So that's something simple you can do. They're $400 to $600 generally, and that'll tell you way more information you want to know about your house.
Yeah, we can't stress that enough.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll just repeat it again and again, but insulating your house does not improve your efficiency. Not unless you do the air sealing first. Otherwise, you've just pumped in 18 inches of air filter.
Exactly.
So blower door test is worth the money.
So, all right, we'll leave it right there. I think the heat pump versus conventional, we're saying go heat pump all the way 100% if you're in the right climate. All right. With that, I'll say keep it square and level.
Till next time.
Until next time. There you go. And stay warm or cold, wherever you may be.